everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome to my basement floor. It is so windy outside. I am going to take you out to the garden because today we are talking about winter sowing. We are going to talk about what do we do now that we've planted the containers, where do we put them, what do we do all winter long, how do we know when to open them, how do you take them from the container and get them in the garden. I have all of that for you. Today I am so excited. Like, I'm gonna try and tone it down a little bit, but it's really hard. I get to winter sow this week and I feel like I've been given a credit card to go and buy my own presents at like New York City. That's how exciting winter sowing is for me. We're gonna make Wednesdays Winter Sowing Wednesday. So today, when you see this, Winter Sowing Wednesday. Winter Sowing Wednesday. Okay, I'm done. Today, let's start out with a quick recap of how I got to this point. So, winter sowing, you have a translucent or transparent container. I have lots of videos about this, lots of information. I will link those below. Go through a whole process, preparing your soil, you plant your seeds, you prepare the container first, you duct tape it, you label it, and you spray it, and then now here we are. We have our container and we want to know what do we do, where do we put it, how do we decide where we put our containers. That is what we are going to start out with today. Let's go out in the garden and let me show you what I look for. So I'm in my garden, and some things that we want to look for in our perfect spot is I want sun to part shade. I want an area that is protected somewhat from the crazy winds. I want an area that is absolutely no flooding. And then I want to make sure that it is open, it doesn't have a covering over top of it where it can't access the rainwater, the snow. So I wouldn't want to put it under anything that's going to obstruct the rain being able to get to the container, because I do want it to water as much as possible for me. This area right here behind me where I just set my container down is a fairly good location. It does have full sun right now. It's 10:30 in the morning, but about 3 o'clock it's going to have no sun. That is a great location for me. It is protected because of the greenhouse here. Another area is where I always plant my zinnias. This all the way back over in front of my greenhouse is where I have had them in the past, and it has worked great. For now, I am going to choose this spot. As you can see, it is now 12:30 and it's shady. So I think this is going to be my location. We've picked the perfect location for right now, and we have set our container out. So now what do? We want to maintain the container by monitoring for moisture. We want to make sure that we don't allow the seedlings to dry out. We do not have a covering over the hole. We threw those away when we were starting the whole process of preparing our containers. What you do, you come out and you literally just put your eye in the hole and you say, it's looking a little dry. I need to water. What I do is I get my spray bottle. I make sure I have some nice water in it, and I just mist the sides really good. Make sure that it doesn't look dried out down the sides. You definitely want to make sure that you do have holes, drain holes. If for some reason you forgot to put the holes in it, go ahead and do it now. Use maybe a knife or scissors to poke those holes. Just make sure you have some drainage holes. Going in, you're watering really good. You can do this while it's sitting down. Okay, then you're just gonna set it back, and in a week or two, if you haven't had a bunch of rain, even if you have had rain, I still like to come out and take a look, because not every raindrop is gonna go in the hole, right? You're not gonna fertilize, you're not going to open the containers up, you are going to leave them. So we have our containers, we set them in the sunny part shade location that is protected, but is open enough to where it can gather rain and snow, and is going to sit out there through the freezing and the thawing, just as it does in nature. We are going to monitor weekly our moisture levels, and we are going to have a spray bottle that we keep handy, and we are going to help water as needed. And also use the nozzle on your hose. If you just change it to the mist setting, You have to be super careful that you don't turn it on full strength so it doesn't blast the seeds, the soil, everything. What if it rains way too much and it's sitting in water? Two things you can do. You can go ahead and poke more holes in it to allow for more drainage and move it to a different location if it's sitting in water. You don't want that, obviously. You want it to be able to drain out. Marley, this is my daughter's dog. What do we do when the temperatures rise, when it's supposed to be winter, and our containers germinate? And it's not supposed to have happened yet. This happens all the time. It's happened every year for me. Listen, this is the part where I tell you what I do, and you make the decision what you want to do, and we all are respectful of each other and trying new things. What works for me may not work for you. What do you do if your containers have germinated? You have seedlings and next week it's going to be 20. What do? You start to freak out. You start to think, uh-oh, I know this is not a good sign. These seedlings are not supposed to be out in the cold, and I can't trust this process. I can't do what I'm supposed to. The people that are hardcore winter sowers say I can't move my containers at all. So the very first year, I didn't know what to do. My seedlings germinated and I freaked out. I know from experience these plants aren't going to survive. They're warm season plants and it's 20 degrees. And that little piece of plastic is not going to protect my seedlings. And so I went and I got towels, beach towels, and I draped them over my containers, but I did not move them because the people said, don't move your containers. Last year, I just was like, you know what? This is my garden. I'm going to do whatever I want to do with my garden, and nobody's going to... You're getting a glimpse of me. Crazy, stubborn, hard-headed, and I will do what I want to do. So I just was like, this is my garden. You're not going to tell me I can't move my containers. That's insane. So same thing. The temperatures rose. The seedlings germinated. And I started moving them. I moved them into my greenhouse and back out, and into my greenhouse and back out. It was such a pain. Oh my gosh, it was such a pain. And you know what? I had great success both years. The weather fluctuations are a very real thing, and they are going to happen. Okay, it happens in nature too. I am going to trust the process. I'm going to cover mine up if they germinate. How do you know when to open your containers? A lot of times as you get closer to your last frost date, your seedlings are absolutely amazing. They are popping out of the tops. They are looking amazing. Get to your last frost date, look at your 10-day forecast. If there are no temperatures under 50, you may be good to go. Just make sure that first you open that container, videotape yourself. Believe me, it's going to be epic. Open your container, let them stay out, and then you cover them up at night. Do it 2 days, and then after the second day of them being open all day and closing them at night, still keeping them outside, I go ahead and leave them open, and I do that for about 2 or 3 days, and then after that I'm ready to plant them. We know our perfect location to put our containers. We know how to water them. We know that we can use either a spray bottle or a hose. I recommend the spray bottle. It's just easier and more gentle. We know that we have the ability and the authority and the decision-making ability to care for our containers how we think we should. We can cover them up if they germinate and it gets really, really cold, or we can take the risk and see what happens. We know that our last frost date, we look at that date as our target, and then we look 10 days in after that, and we see if there's any freezing temperatures or cold temperatures that the plants would not survive in. And if all is good, we're gonna open the container, we're gonna videotape ourselves, and we're gonna send it to Kim at thesoutherndaisy.com. We will have our community by then, so hopefully we can do some live reveals, maybe. Ooh, that would be fun. You're gonna open it up, and then you're going to acclimate your seedlings just a little bit for about 5 days, and then you're ready to plant them out. Okay, so now we pick up and we go back in time to last summer when I opened a container, planted them out, and what I'm going to do is show you that video, and then I'm going to show you what they became. Well, today I want to show you how we take our winter sown containers that are ready to plant, how we get them out of the container, how we separate them, and then how I plant them. So this is Bee Balm lambada. Started the seeds in February. This is now May. And so my seedlings are nice and healthy and they are ready to be planted. So you have your container. What I like to do is very, very carefully, I sort of put my hand under the plants where it's just soil and firmly hold on to it like this. And then it should just slide out like that. So you can see the roots. So I look and see like how many plants that I have. What I generally do is I start by breaking it in half. You can see all of the roots, but I'm being very, very gentle. So I'm just kind of pulling it apart like that. And then this opens it up to where you can see the different plants that you have. It's best to do this in the shade or when there's not direct sunlight, but you can see everywhere there is one plant. And I just separate them. And normally I have a little container. I'm just gonna use these. So each little one, I put it in here. I'm going to plant them like right away. I don't separate these and just leave them because I don't want, they're already stressed since I'm messing with their roots. Or they're already probably irritated, maybe not stressed yet. It's hot today, but the area that I want to plant is in the shade for now. And so, I also want to hit it with water really, really quick. I'm going to go ahead and start pulling these apart, separating them very, very gently, preserving the roots if I take away any of the soil. You see, I've got a ton of plants from this one winter sown container. Look at that root. Now I'm going to go plant, so I'll show you. So this is the section that I'm going to plant my bee balm. So I'm going to just drill some holes. Now I want to go ahead and plant my bee balm. So I just basically take it from the bottom. I don't try and pull it out from the top because they will rip. They are tender. So we just want to be super careful. I'm just going to take it, drop it in the hole, like so. And that's as simple as it really is. It's super easy. You just want to divide them, being very, very gentle, and plant right away, and then water right away. And just stay on top of watering. Hope that this helps you. Any questions you have, feel free to ask them below. My next video is going to be questions and answers. I've gotten some of the most amazing comments and questions and so I wanted to share those with you. Any tips, tricks, whatever. So, hey, subscribe. Please subscribe. I'm trying to hit 10,000 followers. I would love to have you, and be on the lookout. I'm starting a winter sowing community and a garden community. All right. I hope you enjoyed this. Go out, get your hands dirty, start planning your winter sowing, and I can't wait to see you in another video soon. Take care and have a fantastic day.